Hello, everyone. Happy noon on a Friday. Hopefully, you have some fun weekend plans or something exciting, going on either tonight or this weekend or, going into next week. It's Friday. People love Fridays. So, anyways, today I am going to chat a little bit about closings. Like what happens when you finally get to the end of the process of either buying a home or selling a home, if it's, your first time buying or selling, or maybe it's just, maybe it's been a while and you are curious and want a refresher, or, you're thinking of buying. We're going to talk about it. So I just had actually finished this morning our third closing for this week and figured it was the perfect time to, just talk about what happens and everything. So also, quick shout out to my clients that closed this week, my buyers and my sellers. Thank you so much for trusting me to help with, your move, and a couple of them across the country, which is super exciting, and just always allowing me to help with that. And also congratulations. So, okay, that's it for that. All right, so talking about closings, buyers and sellers, it's actually different for both sides of it. So I'm going to talk about them separately. And if you've got questions, pop them in the comments and I will be happy to answer what you've got. So also really quick, Luke and I have got a Facebook group, a free group where we are sharing information and just going into more detail about some of this as well. Oop, my phone just told me I'm live. Okay, so, and just sharing more information and, giving tips, tricks, information, feedback, and guides too on how to not only, purchase a home, but if you're going to be purchasing a fixer-upper and doing, your own remodel, flip, turning that house into your dream. So that link is in the description of this video. Jump in there. We would love to have you. All right, on to the meat. The meat? Anyways. Whew. I just saw Bruce at Tito in the background. All right, Jenna Squirrel moments, back to it. All right, so buyer side. So if you are a buyer and, you're either looking or whatever it is, here's kind of what to expect as you're approaching closing and, once you're getting there. So leading up to it, typically right before closing happens itself, you're going to do a final walkthrough of the property. So we're going to go to the property itself. We are going to make sure not only is it empty, because, you need to be able to see everything, but make sure that it is in the condition that it was when you wrote that initial offer. So when we put this offer together and, we came to terms with the sellers, making sure that everything is there, making sure, that if they said the refrigerator and kitchen appliances were staying, well, I've got pop-ups happening. There we go. That they are in fact still there and with the property. So that, and then another thing is if anything came up in inspections, this is when we check and make sure that all of those were done. Leading up to it, typically we do already have all of the receipts or invoices, if there were any, from those inspections before we go into the actual walkthrough. So we have them with us, we can cross-reference it and just really, checks and balances, making sure it's all done, the property is exactly what you're expecting it to be. We'll sign a release and get heading to closing. So next, when we get to closing, what to bring with you. So this is something that I go into a little bit more detail about in my actual, home buyer packet, just with lots of information on, prepping and home ownership. But a couple main things. You have to bring your driver's license. They're going to make a copy of it. You are going to also bring anything that for a down payment. So, if you've got a down payment, make sure that you have a way to make that payment. Or if you're buying it in cash, people do it. Investors a lot of times do too, specifically. But anyways, you will need to make sure that you've got a check. And a lot of times for a cash transaction, it does have to be a cashier's check. We can cross that bridge when it happens. So that's about it. That's the main things that you're really going to bring with you. Once you get to closing, we're going to go into a room, into a conference room. Your lender is going to be there. I will be there with you, and then you as the buyer, of course, and then the seller side, whoever is the representation on the seller side, that agent will be there at the very beginning of the closing. We'll talk more about what they do in the seller closing process, but you're going to go through we'll sign some documents at the beginning, reviewing the closing disclosure, which you will have gotten prior, but it'll just really go through all the numbers, go through, what your payment is, why that is what your payment is, and, how everything equals out, what costs there have been, what credits there have been, just the overview of all of the numbers. You'll sign it. We'll make sure we've got a copy of the deed packet and all of the deed documents, which is what makes the property legally yours when it gets recorded. And then you do a lot of signing. So there's a lot of paperwork that you sign on the purchase of a home when you're purchasing it with a lender. Because this is a big deal. It's a big purchase. So you'll go through the process of signing all of the documents, and then you get the keys, and then it is yours. So that's it. I mean, it is a super simple, pretty straightforward process for buying, and you always have people there helping you if there are any questions or bumps or anything that come up. I'm there with you. Lender's there. It's a fun and sweet process. So that's that part of it. Then you get the big congratulations. We take your sold photo with your house when we're at the final walkthrough, and then you get to share it and tell the world about your big investment that you made. So buyer side. Now let's talk about seller side. Seller side is a little bit different because traditionally, the seller, if you're selling your house, you actually don't attend closing itself. So once again, there's going to be that final walkthrough. Ooh, need to close things out. There we go. You're going to do that. There's going to be that final walkthrough of the property. The buyers are going to come in. By that point, you need to make sure, that to your best of your ability that you're out of the house. Occasionally, those final walkthroughs happen the night before closing if it's early morning, or it'll happen, right before closing happens itself. So shouldn't be many reasons why you wouldn't be able to be out. But make sure you're out, make sure it's all there. Leave all the extra keys, garage door openers, all of that stuff at the property, minus just the one key if there's one in a lockbox, so that we can give that to the other side of closing. But yeah. Also, leading up to closing, prior to that final walkthrough, myself or my team, we will meet with you on the seller side to go through all the numbers, make sure that what you're expecting for proceeds is what was planned when we looked at the estimate originally. Make sure that all of the numbers are explained, everything. And then we're going to sign that deed packet. We're going to sign the warranty deed itself, which is what transfers the property. I go into all of this in detail when we actually do the signing, but the warranty deed, groundwater hazard statement, declaration of value, power of attorney documents, and then tax documents. So those are the main components of it, but it's really just going through final checks and balances, everything. And then one of those, like I said, limited power of attorney, that is why me as a Keller Williams agent, and we are able to actually attend closing on your behalf so that you don't have to. So we attend, we go through, we review all the numbers that they have, we review the documents, we cross-reference it with all of the documents that we went through with you, make sure they match, we sign everything on your behalf, we get all of your checks, we deliver keys, get copies, and then we're done. We are out of there, and our very next step is to get you your proceeds check after closing, or maybe you're buying and we're meeting you at that closing. Whole nother fun thing. But that's it. That is the process. That is really what happens at the closing table. It is fun. It's, like I said, this is one of the biggest investments that people make in their lives. And so it's a super fun and exciting thing. And that's really what you should expect. So if you've got questions, if, maybe you've been considering looking at, buying or selling or, making a move, whether it's local or across the country, reach out. I would love to chat a little bit more with you kind of about your plans and answer any questions that you have, and just really help with your move, whatever it takes. So hope you guys have a great rest of your Friday and an awesome weekend, and we will talk to you next week. Bye.